Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here, my first time to the Tech Summit. I'm Alex Triantis, the Dean of the Johns Hopkins Carey Business School. And I'm actually here in India for a week or two with a large delegation from Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins University has been in India for almost 100 years, most of that focused in the area of public health. And so now we have a renewed vision for what we're doing here in India, working together with partners that we've been meeting with over the last week in government, in business, and academia, under the umbrella of what's called the Gupta-Klinsky India Institute at Johns Hopkins. Although really, I think I'm just going to be underscoring many of the great comments that were made already by the panelists. I believe, maybe I'm biased, that academia does have an essential role in AI and the adoption worldwide to better business and society. AI was, the foundations of AI at least, have been around for decades, and they emerged out of academia. But they weren't ready for prime time. Prime time required a lot of data, a lot of compute, and a lot of skilled talent as well. And so we're finally at this point where the research that is happening now in academia is much more sophisticated and developed and focused on many of the use cases that you've heard over the last hour or so. We are now also in a situation where academia, which has been working with business for many years, is not only working sort of in a siloed local environment with business, but has become really a transnational adventure, where academics are working with academics across the globe in a 24-hour cycle, and also with businesses as well. And the research that is happening is clearly on algorithms, it's clearly on developing chip design, developing efficient and sustainable energy systems that we know that we need, and then all the application areas around precision medicine, and you've heard some excellent examples around diagnostics and therapeutics and how critical they are, around finance, around autonomous vehicles, around smart cities. But also I'd like to emphasize maybe the softer dimension of this, which is the policy dimension. And academia as well is having a big role there. So you think about all the focus on data privacy clearly is one important area. But also around more subtle areas, around whose content are you using to train your systems. Some very high-profile legal cases that are happening right now that are really going to shape what we see in the adoption of AI over the next decade or two. We're also seeing fundamental areas where we have great developments in AI, let's say in the area of medicine, that can transform people's lives, and yet we have regulatory systems that may not have adapted quickly enough to what we need to be able to take that to the next step. So research is a fundamental area of academia that is going to be an important piece of the adoption and evolution of AI. But the other that you've heard a lot about is the training, is the education component. We need lots of talent and we need it fast. And certainly around all the areas of engineering that you've heard about, all the application areas, that is also key. But being the dean of a business school, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the role that I see the business schools also play in this. At the Carey Business School, we adopted as a required course 5 years ago a course on AI. We were the first business school to do that, major business school to do that. And we saw it as critical to understand how every industry was going to be disrupted by the role of AI. So now we have dozens of courses that are focused in many ways on AI and how it's impacting functional areas like finance, like accounting, like marketing, and so on, sort of conventional, old-fashioned courses in business schools. So these courses have totally transformed. But the other thing that you've heard a lot about here is about how we do this, how we train in a scalable manner. And fortunately, AI there can help us from an educational disruption perspective. So if you think about faculty who now have avatars who speak multiple languages and can be your personal tutor that you can ask them any question, we are rapidly evolving in an area where we can scale using AI, the very AI talent that we're trying to transform out there for all the businesses and for society to have. Students have caught on to AI very quickly. In fact, as many of you probably know, it's been a transformation for educational institutions to understand how to deal with that, given how creative they are in the use of AI in doing their various assignments. But now faculty have truly adopted this in terms of what they're trying to do to transform the educational experience. And the other aspect that I want to focus on is entrepreneurship and innovation. Yes, really the only way to know how to do that and to do it successfully is to do it in practice. And yes, we know that failure is embraced in entrepreneurship and the mantra of failing fast. But I do believe that academia can tell us how to also limit our failures to those that we absolutely need to take. And so at our business school at Johns Hopkins, we spent a lot of focus on trying to understand the commercialization of innovative ideas, of understanding how to understand markets and how to understand how to design for markets. And we know that one of the hardest things with AI in businesses is that change management, is the soft part of it, and how you get companies to adopt that. And a lot of that can be taught and trained. We also know a hard part of adopting AI is how we do entrepreneurship, is how we work together in teams. And there too, business schools teach a lot about effective teaming and do a lot through experiential training. At Johns Hopkins, we are all in on AI. The university announced a few months ago the largest investment in AI of any university. And yes, a lot of this is about hiring talent. We're hiring more than 100 faculty just focused on AI in the next few years. And a lot of those are in engineering, but a lot of those cut across disciplines as well. We also are focused on how to work together with business. And this, and you've heard this from several of our speakers, is so fundamentally important. This notion that an academic is an academic and a business person is focused on the business is going to change and already has. There's going to be a porous interface where academics will come in and out of business and business people will come in and out of academia as well to try to strengthen these bonds. We have to be innovative there too in terms of how we think about those bonds between academia and business. So in sum, it is, we're having a fabulous time with our delegation of 20 people here in India and traveling around various parts, and very excited to be here in Karnataka. We see incredible potential to partner together here with various institutions. India has the talent, it has the entrepreneurial spirit, and it has an incredible amount of ambition, not only economic ambition, but also purpose, which we see as the fundamental societal impact that AI will have, which we're very excited about. So with that, I hope to meet many of you and look forward to the rest of the summit. Thank you.